Today we're covering solving right triangles. It's nothing new, okay? Everything we're going to do today is stuff that you've done before. What we're doing is just simply combining trig, inverse trig, Pythagorean theorem, and everything else. All these different tools that you've learned in the past that most of you have been successful at, okay? But what a lot of students struggle with this is because you can do it individually, but then whenever it's put together, it's just like you forget everything you've learned. So what you want to do with this, and I try to break it down on just like one step at a time, and then it makes it a lot more manageable, and it's stuff that you can do. Okay. So with that being said, let's jump in it. Go ahead and write this down. So what we're doing when we're solving a right triangle is they're going to give me a couple pieces of information, and I need to find all the missing stuff on the triangle, okay? So like when we did trig, we found missing sides. When we did inverse trig, we found missing angles. On this one, it's going to say find every missing part. Solve for the whole right triangle. So when we start out, if we have two missing sides, the tool that we're going to use is trigonometry. We're going to use trig. If we have one missing side, use Pythagorean theorem, okay? You can also use trig to find the missing side. The way that I've laid this out, to me, is the easiest way to do it, okay? There's more than one way, but I try to do this where it's the easiest steps possible to make your life a little easier. Okay? So, two missing sides, trig. If you have one missing side, use Pythagorean theorem. Then with the angles, if you have two missing, inverse trig. One missing, remember they all three add up to 180 inside, so you just add them together, add the two you know, subtract from 180. So example 1 says solve the right triangle. I'm going to go ahead and just give you a little hint on the ones. All the ones we'll be doing in class is that, and you want to write this down, there will be 3 answers on every one. So let's look at this and let's evaluate what we got. How many missing sides do I have here? Like how many side lengths do I not know? 2. Name one of the sides for me, like with the points. So I heard BA. Then somebody said BC. Whoops. Do it a different color. All right. And then that's our 2 missing sides. How many missing angles do I have? How many? 1. And what's the name of that missing angle? A. So we got to find the measure of angle A. All right, here's my 3 answers that are needed. So I'm going to make that my answer box. So I highly recommend when you start out, write down the 3 missing things you find, the name of the sides and the name of the angles you're missing, and then just fill it in as you go. Because what we're going to do is we're going to break this down and just do one step at a time. Because up to this point, most of the time I've only asked you for like, oh, what's BA? And you would just solve for BA. Or what's just BC? Or something like that. Now we're asking for all of this all in one, okay? But like I said, if you just think of that as 3 different problems, and just take it one at a time, then you'll be able to solve this fairly easy if you've understood what's going on so far. All right, also what I would do is I would label my 3 things that I'm missing, and I would label them X, Y, and Z on the triangle. So BA is a missing side. I'm just going to put X there. BC is a missing side. I'm going to put Y. And then we said angle A was missing, so I'll put Z there. X, Y, and Z. So I know I'm going to solve for those 3 things on that triangle. Okay, 2 sides and 1 angle. Questions so far? Okay. All right. So step 1. Let's find BA. Find BA. At this point, how many missing, since BA is a side, I got to ask myself, how many missing sides do I have? Yeah, 2. So 2 missing sides. So I'll make note, 2 missing sides. What do we use when we look at our cheat sheet? What do we use when we have two missing sides? Trig. All right, so if we're going to use trig, we got to use our reference angle, which is the 62 degrees. And then we're finding BA. BA is right now is we've made it x. So x is which side? Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? It's a hypotenuse, right? Because it's across from this, from that 90. So it's hypotenuse. And what is the side we know? Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? Yeah, this one is the opposite. Okay. So I'm working with O and H because I'm looking for X and it's the H, and I have O. So what are we going to use? SOHCAHTOA or TOA? So, and it's sine. Now I'm going to kind of skip a lot of steps. I'm assuming y'all know at this point. If you're still struggling with trig and everything, go back to your trig notes for that. So we're just going to just plug it straight in. Sine of, what's the angle we put here? 62 equals the opposite over hypotenuse. So what's the opposite? Hypotenuse? X. Okay. If x is on bottom class, do I multiply or divide? Divide. So I'm going to say x is equal to 25 over sine 62. And all your answers on this stuff, at least for the notes, do 1 decimal place, just the nearest tenth. I think that's what your worksheet says as well. Just make sure you always double check. Okay? And make sure you're in degrees. So I heard a couple people say 28.3, and that's BA. Okay? And if it helps you, once you find what a missing side is or an angle, you can write it on your triangle. That way, okay, I know X is 28.3. All right, the second thing, second step, find BC. And I'm just going to go just straight down this box, okay? Just the way there's no certain order you have to do it. It's just, I'm just going in the order that we wrote it in our answer box. Okay? So find BC. Now at this point, how many missing sides do I have? 1. When we have 1 missing side, what do I write? What do I use? Pythagorean theorem. All right, so Pythagorean theorem, that's just simply a squared plus b squared equals c squared. On this triangle, which one is going to be my c? It's the hypotenuse, which is 28.3, okay? Remember the a and the b, it doesn't matter which one you do. So a, I'll just say it's the 25, so I'll do 25 squared plus the other side is what right now? Y. And we said the c was a hypotenuse, which is 28.3 squared. Okay. All right, so remember with Pythagorean theorem, I'm going to remind you just a shortcut. I know I need to subtract that 25 squared to get it to the other side. So it's going to be y squared is equal to, keep the bigger number first, 28.3 squared minus 25 squared. And if you don't remember how to do this, go back in your notes to Pythagorean theorem. Or go back and watch those videos. And how do I get rid of that squared? What's the opposite of squaring something? Square root. So square root of this and square root of all that. So literally, I just plug in to your calculator the square root of 28.3 squared minus 25 squared. You can do that all in one step. If you still want to break it down, that's fine. I just recommend just do it all in one step. Set it up like this, do it one step, and make your life a little easier. So there's BC, 13.3. And like I said, if you like to fill out the triangle, that's fine. You can fill it out. 13.3. Last step, number 3, is we need to find the measure of angle A. Class, at this point, how many angles am I missing? Just one. And what did our tool sheet or the cheat sheet say when you're missing one angle? What do you do?
The two missing sides you know and subtract from 180.
Yep, perfect. Add the 2 that you know and then subtract from 180 because we know all 3 add up to 180. So what are the 2 we know? What plus what? 90 plus the 62, right? Yeah, because we're dealing with angles, so it's the corners. So it's going to be 90 plus 62, which is just 152. Then 180 minus that 152 is how much? 28. So the measure of angle A is 28 degrees. And that's it on that one. So right now, I'm going to label, I've got a missing side there, one missing side, AB. Then I got a missing angle. I'm going to call it Y and Z. How many missing sides do I have? 1. How many missing angles? 2. So let's make our answer box. We got to find side AB. And then I got to find the measure of angle C. And what's the last angle I need to find the measure of? Which one? B. So there's my three things. All right, first step. Good. We need to find Pythagorean theorem because how many missing sides do I have right now? 1 missing side. So I'm going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Class, which one is my c? Yeah, the 30. So that's my hypotenuse. So I'm going to say 24 squared plus x squared equals 30 squared. Okay, and this works just like that one we've already done, so I'm going to just jump to the end. X is equal to the square root 30 squared minus 24 squared. X equals 18. Now that's just a whole number, so there's nothing around. It's nice whenever they work out really nice like that. So our AB is 18. I'll fill it in on the triangle. X is 18. Okay. Next step. Find the measure angle C. How many missing angles do I have right now? 2. So 2 missing angles. What tool do I use? Yeah, on the tool sheet it said inverse trig. So we're finding angle C. So use the 2 sides that like they gave me. That's kind of a rule of thumb I always do is like to try to keep from like having rounding errors. Like use the 2 sides that they gave you right off the bat. So the 24 and the 30. So class, the 24 is where from angle C? Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? It's the adjacent. And the 30 is the hypotenuse. Okay? So we have A and H. So which one is it? If we have A and H? Cup. So it's cosine. So it's cosine, since we're looking for angle, inverse A over H, 24 divided by 30. What's the angle? What did we plug? What letter did we put in for this angle? Y. So we'll just say equals to Y. So plug that in your calculator. Make sure you're in degrees. 36.9. Okay. All right, and the last one. find the measure of angle B. I have how many missing angles now? One. So this is the easiest one. We're just going to add the two we know, 90, plus how much? The 36.9, the angle we just found. We get 126.9. Then we subtract that from 180. 180 minus 126.9. So 53.1. And that's it.